saint, but you know I'm a stranger. You call me a saint, but you know I'm a stranger. All willing and able to do what you want. You think I'm a thing.
All right, good morning. Smarter Options here. Ice King. I'm going over some look at the market here. You can see VIX has been playing this pattern since really December. Okay, but we keep getting in these wedges, breaking out, breaking out, breaking out, and here we are breaking out again. Okay, the good news on this is, let's look at the 1 hour here real quick. So the good news is that we're turning at least. Momentum is turning. Nothing really on the 1 hour, 2 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hour. We're kind of getting a slightly bearish divergence here on the 4 hour if it's turning right here. If not, though, if it keeps pushing up any higher and the MACD starts coming down, right, that's good signs of a divergence that is wearing thin and that it's just it's going to give out, but no direct signs yet. We do have a gap to fill on the VIX, which just like futures, it tends to like to fill its gaps, right? Even this little gap right here, you can see it got a big spike up and closed it. Here was a large gap, instantly closed it. Gap, closed it. Here was a gap, and it looks like it tried to close it right there. So anyway, so we do have this gap down here, okay? And as you can see, when it has been breaking out, a lot of times we get a pop and it comes back down. Maybe I need to adjust that one a little bit. It's more like this. Anyway, we get this big breakout, usually comes back down. Big breakout comes back down, and then we get a big breakout. We got that gap to fill, so we wouldn't be too surprised if we see that start coming back down a little bit. Okay, still really high on the VIX as compared to when, here's March of 2020. VIX ran up a lot, but then by June it was down. We got down to lows of 14 and in July of 21, and VIX has been crawling back up. Let's go look at that 1 hour again. So anyway, like I said, we're getting this curve on this 1 hour. We're saying it's losing momentum. Okay, not to say it won't push higher for a little bit, but it's losing momentum at least. Let's look at MNQ. If you guys have questions or something you want to see, please put it in the comments. Let's just look at NASDAQ futures here. So on the 1 hour, we're getting a bullish divergence here. And that's just because as the MACD is falling price, or, as it's rising, it's losing that seller momentum. We're still pushing lower, which tells us that sellers are wearing out. Okay. I did take that SPY call yesterday. That's the only call I took. Gave it till tomorrow. Because I'm expecting a bounce at some point here. We don't want to reload up with shorts yet, right? Because yes, I'll look at QQQ. We don't want to look at shorts yet because we need a bounce, right? No reason to burn premium for nothing. So we will be reloading up. This is a bear market. We're probably heading into a recession here. So we'll load up on puts again, but not yet. We don't want to be stupid about it. Okay. Let's look at QQQ real quick. At least it's starting to turn here. Nothing too much on the 1 hour. Two hour, I'd really like to see it start turning now. It does look like it's, it looks like this should start to wrap here pretty quick. If that can happen, once again, that's not even really that bullish. Yeah, nothing really there to look at. Let's see if there's anything on the hidden. No. I mean, here you can see it was bearish. Price was fighting to stay flat. Okay. Meanwhile, this is just like what we're seeing on M&Q right now. Meanwhile, the momentum was coming down. Okay, and that's telling us that there is buyers were holding up the price, but they were fighting really hard. Okay, and they were losing momentum. As soon as we lost the zero line, down we came crashing. Okay. Nothing really too much. I mean, like I said, nothing on the outlook here to where you want me to open up a play right now. I'd wait on QQQ. I mean, M&Q is going to follow, but like I said, it could still push lower. I mean, this could still keep pushing lower. You know what I mean? We might end up down here before it's all said and done. All right, but it looks like sellers are wearing out. Is the only point that we're going to watch for. But it may not be today. It may not. I mean, we got FOMC on tomorrow, so you got to be careful. Let's look at SPY real quick, see if that's showing anything. But SPY is going to follow. Yeah, nothing really here either. I mean, we're just starting to get the wrap. Yeah, nothing crazy here. Like I said, it's going to start showing way oversold. So news tomorrow might cause for a bounce. So I guess I'll watch charts throughout the day. Let's go start looking at some stocks. Apple. Here was bearish divergence, right? Price was fighting. Buyers were fighting to hold up the price. Meanwhile, it was crazily losing momentum, and it crashed. Here was a bullish divergence, right? Lower lows, higher lows, and that caused for a rise. But like I said, we're waiting for new setups. Okay, I posted all those plays last week, last 2 weeks, and just remember, guys, look at the 1 hour chart. I don't like to scalp, so looking at the 1 hour chart, things happen, but it's harder to hit the exact pivots. I mean, you guys saw my Microsoft play. I took it 2 weeks ago at 330. We averaged all the way down to when it was at 49 cents, and it worked because the play was still strong, but it took a while to work. Meanwhile, some of the other plays I took happened right away. Here we're starting to get a bullish divergence on Adobe. Okay, I think I was looking at the 2 hour chart where I did this. Yeah, so price is fighting. It's starting to wrap right here. This is a leader. You can see it's starting to turn. So sellers are fighting to push it down lower here, but they're losing momentum, and it's pushing much harder than last time to get it this low, right? So that's a bullish divergence. Lower lows, higher lows, lower lows and higher lows. I'm trying to think how that goes. Bullish, higher lows. This is a hidden bullish divergence. Yeah, higher lows up here and lower lows down here. Okay, this isn't really a higher low, but it's still, when it's flat like this, that's still a hidden bullish divergence. AMD. Here it was getting wedged. Same thing here, guys. Let's go to the 1 hour chart again. First, check the 1 hour chart if I can. So same thing, all right here, right? That was all a bearish div. We were getting higher highs, and then finally it curved, and then as it hit the bottom here, we lost the zero line, and support failed, and we fell. But still, like I said, no new setups yet, and that's what we're looking for. So we wait for new setups, especially in this market. Starting to get a bullish div starting to form on Boeing, which actually happened right here also. Right, we were getting, just so you guys can see in the past how this has worked. Here you can see, and this is what I was talking about, guys. This is why it takes time to play out. I mean, you could have taken calls right here because you had a bullish div. Then it went lower on that turn right there. That's where you would have averaged down. Okay. And then it kept pushing lower. That's where you would have averaged down again. But eventually, it came up and you were above your point. But it can take some time to work out, but it does work out. Here's the bearish div we took last week. Right, we were pushing a lot higher right here. Meanwhile, this was all falling. Okay, and we had so anyway, that was the bearish div we played last week. Baba, yeah, see, there's still not a lot. We just had some of these play out, so we just need to wait for new setups. Here was the bearish div we played on Baidu last week. Okay, that was the bearish div we played on Baidu, which we had runners going into yesterday. That paid off well. Cat, here was the bearish div we played last week. And this just kept pushing up insanely higher. Meanwhile, MACD was not. It was not getting any more momentum, and it crashed. CRM, same thing. We played this bullish div last week, or bearish div last week. So really, guys, we're waiting for his new setups. And FOMC is tomorrow. You probably won't see me take a lot. Google. You won't see me take a lot until I get a new setup. So there might be a ton this week, but I imagine by next week, I mean maybe this week, it'll just be towards the end of the week. Gosh, if we could get I get some lottos going for Friday, that'd be awesome. Which we might see something set up by Friday or by Thursday to take some for Friday. I would love to see that. Here's the Google one we played last week. Right? Everything was showing signs of weakness last week. Kept pushing higher. It was just like everybody wants the market to go bull, but you could see they were straining themselves out doing it. And sure enough, crashed, and we crashed hard. Banks are going to look at, see if you can see divs setting up. We are seeing it. Banks kind of tend to lead the market sometimes. This isn't every time, but if the banks aren't doing well, I can tell you the market's probably not doing well. We are starting to try that. Let's see if we got anything building up on the banks here. Nothing really on the 4 hour. I bet that's the daily almost 240. Here you can see every time, so on the 4 hour, every time we've gotten a lower low, okay. Just keep kind of doing this here. So each time we've got a lower low and the MACD has started to pivot, okay, has been a pivot point in the stock. See there, there. There to there. And now we have a new lower low. And as long as this MACD stays above negative 13.5, so it looks like it's starting to turn here, this will be another pivot point. Okay. Which should show us a bounce in the market. So that would be what I'd be watching for. But this is the 4 hour, so it takes a little bit to play out. Okay, like I said, it might be next week. But here you can see I got this pivot, right? From March 8th to March 21st, it was bullish. From April 7th to April 21st, from May 12th to June 1st, and now here we are on June 14th. Every 2 weeks, it's been kind of going through this cycle, so this is what I'd be watching for. That'll help give us an indication the market's turning also. Melly, I really like that for a put last week on this right here. Oops, sorry. We were just so close to the zero line, and it kept trying to push higher without pushing higher. I really like that setup. And when it crashed, it fell. Melly makes big moves when it falls. Look at this from last Thursday at 8:26 to today. It's down 200 points. That's huge. I wish I would have taken that. They were low expensive, so I didn't take them or post them. MES. Now here is once again just like the bullish div that I told you guys on the on MNQ, right? We're getting kind of the same thing. We are pushing up higher here while really pushing lower still. The price is going around it, but pushing lower. Okay. MACD leader is above, so that gives us an indication that this is going to keep rising. If this pushes any lower, it will just be pushed. It'll be wearing out the sellers even more.
Order filled.
Excuse me, that's my bot trading. So like my bot just went long on this rise, but it's only going for 15 points. So don't take anything off of that. Microsoft, God, that turned out beautiful. This is the play we took all for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, right? It was taking this, or a week and a half, whatever it was. This is the one that we started out at 330 and we averaged all the way down to with 49 cents. My average was $2. But even if you didn't average down, on Friday, it went $6 in the money last week. We were averaging down at 49 cents. So every one you average down at 49 cents, it went all the way up to 6, or it could have gone to 6. I closed most of mine out I closed a lot out like at 350 and then some more at 5. But once again, we go back to Microsoft here. There's no new setup yet, and that's what we got to watch for. Okay, new setups, not to just trade just because. So we're looking for new setups. So that's what I keep looking for. Netflix might have something here. Let's look at the 2 hour. If this can start to rotate here, that'll be a hidden bullish. This will be a hidden bullish div right here. Well, almost. Not quite, I guess. Never mind. That's not really. I was looking at it, I thought it was going to be, but it's really not. Here you can see here was just a gigantic, ever since this fall, right? Here was just a gigantic bullish div that kept building. Lower lows with higher lows, but it wasn't until it got close to that zero line that it was in play. You can see here it kind of tried to come up here, but it pushed much lower on this move without any move on the momentum. That's a big sign to average down. And then it got a nice run up. But like I said, we're still just, guys, all we're doing is just waiting on new plays to form. So don't think that I'm not going to be posting a ton of plays again. We're just waiting for new stuff to set up. Higher lows, price was holding the lows, right? This seller's giving up, rose up. Now we're just waiting for new plays. Here's bearish div. It was pushing lower while the price was not. I mentioned I like Penn for a put last week, which I took plenty of puts, so I didn't post it. But this would have been a cheap one because it's it was only at $35, and it fell at $7. That would have been a nice return. I'm in that Walmart play. I don't know if you guys are in that or not. You don't have to be. I literally did that because, just like here, right? Well, first of all, when the market's really struggling in recession, money tends to go towards safe haven stocks, retail, things that are safe. Walmart tends to be kind of one of those. And you can see here that while the price is, let's just say for the most part, from this low right here, right, the price is staying level. Sellers are pushing and holding this down, but it has no momentum left. Okay. So, and it had bad earnings, I get that, but at some point that gets forgotten and this will start to move. Anyway, so that's why I took this play and I gave it plenty of time because Walmart's a slow mover, but they were cheap, right? I mean, just this stock was just at 130 here a week or two ago. We have till next month for it to get to 125. So anyway. Okay, guys, if there's anything you want to see, please holler it out. Otherwise, I'm just really waiting for more setups. My gosh, look at Shop, guys. This is crazy to me how much Shop has dropped. I mean, Shop hit up here at almost $1,800 just in November, and it's down. You know what? Let's just talk a little bit about the market here real quick. There's something to think about. Like, why are some of these stocks? Feels like we've been a real red market, but the SPY is not super red, right? I mean, it is, but it isn't at the same time. I just want to show you something here real quick. We go to the 1 day here. Pre-COVID, the SPY was at 338. So we're still up above pre-COVID. Okay, I mean, we're at 378. Pre-COVID was 338-ish, whatever, right there. 339. Hell, we'll say 340 just for fun. That's a little high, but so 340, and we are still quite a bit above pre-COVID. Is the economy in a better place since pre-COVID? Absolutely not. No, it's not. It's not better at all. So why would this still be up? Well, I just want to show you guys why. It's things like Apple. Okay, this is what they're doing to manipulate. They're holding certain stocks up. Now here's pre-COVID price, $81 pre-COVID Apple. Okay, pre-COVID Apple was at $81. It's still at $131. Okay, that's not double, but it's still up, what, 40% off its highs before pre-COVID. Okay, now let's go look at stocks like, let's look at something they're not holding up, like Square. Look at this. Pre-COVID, stock was at 87. It's at 62. It's below pre-COVID prices. Let's look at PayPal. Shop is below. I bet Shop is below pre-COVID. Yep, Shop's below pre-COVID. PayPal's below. Look at this. PayPal is below the COVID dip. I mean, pre-COVID, PayPal was at 125. The worst time during COVID, at the absolute low, it was at 82. The stock's at $73. Let's look at Snap. Snap is below pre-COVID price. Snow. I guess Snow wasn't out yet, but still, look, Snow is way down. Twitter is back at pre-COVID prices. It's right there. I mean, pre-COVID, it was right around here. That's where it's at. Banks. There is April 2020. I guess banks were already starting to fall going into pre-COVID. There's February 2020. We're still way below that. Banks got hit probably. I mean, this is what I was talking about. Like, banks will kind of show us where things are going. December of 19, it was up. February of 2020, right here. Then COVID happened, and look how bad banks got hit. But still, right there to below or to at pre-COVID prices, below pre-COVID prices. Walmart. This is one of those ones I was just telling you guys. February. Yep. So here's COVID. So right back to pre-COVID prices. So anyway, guys, there's some of these big stocks that they're holding up, and that's how they're manipulating the market. That's how they're making it look higher than it really is. Tesla is another one of those. Pre-COVID prices was at 192. It's still at 674 or 647. If we go look at Microsoft, same thing. Almost guarantee it. Meta, Facebook, here's another one. Actually, Meta's down, but just recently here, right? February this year, it started to really tank. There was pre-COVID prices, but Microsoft should be way above pre-COVID prices. Yep. Here's pre-COVID prices of 188. It's still at 242. Netflix, another perfect example. Going into February 2020 right here, pre-COVID prices, it was at 393. It's at 170. They are tanking certain stocks or letting certain stocks tank, and they're holding up just a handful. But this is why 401ks, this is why your investment portfolios, this is why they're all way down, because if you're the more diversified you are, unfortunately, the worse you are right now. The only way to really have not taken such a huge hit would be if you were in just major tech, which would be a terrible portfolio. I mean, by a terrible portfolio, by normal standards, right? You don't want to be all into just one thing. So anyway, guys, there's something to think about. They have been taking the market. DD needed, but there's a lot of long-term equities available right now. Services, Netflix, SQ, PayPal, etc. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know if it's a good time to start them quite yet. Like, let's just go look at PayPal real quick here. I do agree with you, but I mean, if we're just now going into recession, I mean, I think things could fall even further. But let's look at the daily here. Actually, on the daily, yeah, I like PayPal. Like for a long, actually, I think he's right, exactly. So look at this. So on the daily chart, now this will take a long time to play out. This could take months to play out. So you have to do a leap if you want to do something, right? But look here, where it's losing strength, and yet you're getting lower lows. So higher lows, lower lows. Okay. Now this has been playing out since middle of February. So this has already been playing out for 4 months. So you'd have to give yourself a lot of time. You have to do a leap on this, but you could absolutely do it. Let's see what else he said. Netflix, Square. Let's look at Square real quick again. Square, yep, same thing as forming. This isn't quite as far as long as, but we're pushing lower. Meanwhile, it's losing momentum on the daily. I mean, these things are getting way oversold. Which, how far down can they go, right? I mean, obviously, they can go here, but if this ever gets down here again, you're going to see a lot of buying kick in, I think. Square, you also mentioned Netflix. Let's look at Netflix. Now, remember, guys, these are daily charts. Once again, this is not as well formed. You can see that we are pushing lower. Meanwhile, MACD is losing its momentum. All right, now on the same note, this was bearish right here, okay? It was getting these higher highs, and it's still underneath the zero line, so that wasn't good. Meanwhile, it was getting lower highs this whole time. That was showing signs of failure, okay? But now we're getting... we still don't have anything right here. I mean, it's going down. This is going down. But there is a bullish div forming on here. I do agree. I just don't know when it's going to start. I'd wait for it to start almost getting a little closer to the zero line on the daily. I wouldn't take it quite yet, but I do see what you're talking about. Big time. Okay. I would just wait until this gets closer to that zero line to make a big move, or at least attempt it. All right, guys. Everybody, good luck today. Hit me up if you see me in chat. Yeah, I do agree with that too. He said there's a too competitive stream right now. It is. Everybody's getting into streaming. The other thing too is with inflation. People are, when people's wallets are starting to get hurt here, and gas is getting so high. The first thing they're going to start cutting is things they don't need, and unfortunately, live stream is going to be some of that, especially people that have multiple services. So, all right, guys, everybody have a good day today. Hit me up if you need me.